Hi, now we are here to show you one of the most effective strikes in Ruas Vale Tudo. Marcos is gonna show you one of his favorite strikes who really work in a street fighting. Will be some kinds of punches, kicks, elbows, knees, and headbutts. You will see how you apply and where you apply those strikes. Good luck in your practice. Now we're going to start with headbutts. In a headbutt, it's important you know where you're going to hit your opponent and what part of your head we're going to hit the opponent. It's important you hit with this part of your head, not with your face, in the face of the opponent. Marco is going to show you the first headbutt. He's going to fake me and hit me in the chin. Again, he's gonna fake entrance and hit me on the chin. Once more, fake and hit in the chin. He'll do a full power. Agora sem acertar, rápido. Again.
Watch how Marco closes the distance and then gives a headbutt. If this move is applied correctly, it can be extremely effective. You pretend you're going to take your opponent down, instead you give a headbutt. Pay attention how you try to hit your opponent's chin. This is a good way to practice the movement. You can stare in the mirror and do these exercises that Marcos is doing.
The front headbutt, it's very important you see what's the area of the face we're going to hit your opponent. Now, Marco is going to hit me in the nose, in the front headbutt. Slow. Devagar agora. Again. Oh. Rápido. Okay.
Now headbutts are very effective. They're very common in Muay Thai fighting. If you use it properly, you won't need to go to the ground. Make sure to use the top part of your head. And again, you can practice that move looking at the mirror. And remember to keep your eyes open at all times.
Once the guy go the close distance, you can throw some headbutts. And Marco gonna show you one of headbutt he gonna like. Yeah.
Marco believes that headbutting your opponent, once standing up, it's very important because you can use both arms to hold your opponent and still effectively cause some damage. If you are in a street fight, if you are against a fence and you don't want to go down, you can hold your opponent and keep applying headbutts, and you can cause serious damage.
Now we're going to talk about punches. There are a lot of kinds of punches, but just some are real effective in a freestyle fighting. We're going to show you the straight punch to keep the distance and to hit the guy. A straight punch, a jab. Again, de novo. De novo. Look where he hit me. Rápido agora.
Jabbing is very important. The jabs are used to measure the distance between you and your opponent, and it's a great strike for you to turn around, move your opponent in the ring, at the same time distract him to do a straight. Look, the entire movement. That exercise you should also practice time after time after time.
Once the jab is used to measure the distance from you, from your opponent, the right straight punch is to hit hard your opponent. Direto. Rápido agora. Devagar. Acerta na cara.
Marco compares the right straight punch to a locomotive. That's what he calls it. He says that a fighter must have a strong right hand. He should train and train and train because he feels that that's the most powerful strike that a fighter can have. If you're right-handed, if you're left-handed, a straight left. And pay attention how he turns the arm as he sends the punch. And remember to keep your left foot on the ground at all times. This is a great exercise, also facing the mirror. You send the punch over and over and over again, with speed or slow.
It's important during the punch, you rotate your hip and use all the weight of your body during the punch. Now we're going to show you the uppercut. It's a punch in close distance. Devagar. De onde acerta. No corpo agora. Cara. Na cara, devagar.
Now Marco feels that an uppercut is a very important strike for you guys to learn, because once you close the distance, striking becomes very difficult and ineffective. However, the headbutt and the uppercut are the few strikes that can still be very effective with the distance closed. Pay attention how when you apply the uppercut, your entire body goes to that punch. You use the top part of your body and just sends all your power to either the opponent's face or body.
As you can see, during the uppercut, Marco used his body leverage to increase the power of the uppercut. Marco is going to show you some elbows now. This is a side elbow. Right on the face. Rápido agora. Devagar. Oh, acerta um pouco mais forte. When Marco applied the elbows, his hand must be open. Then the muscle is not covering your bone. It's hard if you hit with your hand open during the elbow.
Marco believes that a fighter should have the elbows technique down, because the elbows can hurt your opponent so much and you have zero risk of injuring your elbow. And it's just, the amount of damage an elbow can do to an opponent is just outrageous. And you should really use it as you practicing with your punch bag. You know, constantly do a jab or right, but always remember to throw elbows. An elbow to the face, can be lethal. Make sure you have elbows, part of your training, so you too can become a complete fighter.
Devagar. Now, Marco, we're gonna throw an upper elbow. Close distance. Acerta. Full power. Up, up.
Here we go again with another strike that works from a close distance, the upper elbow. The great thing about the upper elbow is that you can, as you apply the punch, you will still protect part of your face, because oftentimes when you apply a punch, you expose yourself. But as you can see, when Marco applies that upper elbow, he's protecting the entire right side of his face. And with the left arm, he protects the rest. And the damage that upper elbow can do, it's just something else. Remember, elbows.
These elbows is good for when the guy, your opponent wants to close the distance. Look what I'm gonna do, and Marco, we're gonna throw the elbow. As you can see, when the guy tries to close the distance, holding your body, Marco, we're gonna throw some upper elbows to make his distance.
Your elbows can be used as well when your partner is trying to close the distance. As you can see here, Robert tries to close the distance and Marco uses both of his elbows to keep him away. These are some of the exercises that you can do to improve your elbow technique. Again, facing the mirror, and remember, keep your eyes open at all times and always face your opponent.
Using the elbows, it's very important. And Marco thinks using the elbows, you save your hands. Elbows is harder than the hands. Then the good fighter always develop the elbows. Elbows, it's a little strikes. The downward elbow, we're gonna use it when the guys try to hold you in lower level. De novo. De novo. The Ruas Vale Tudo downward elbow have to be slide out. Then you cause more cut and stop the fight.
The downward elbow, it's perfect when your opponent's trying to shoot for your legs. Usually wrestlers like to go for your legs. So if you're able to keep your base and really apply it correctly, it can be a one-shot fight. Marcos likes to apply the downward elbow, sliding, so it works, he feels it cuts more the opponent. This is the exercise you can do. But remember also, you can do that same exercise and pulling a little bit to the side like he does in order to cause a greater cut.
Now, Marco, we're going to show you the spinning elbow. The spinning elbow was one of the most favorite Marco's elbows. And he won many fights in Brazil with that kind of punches. Devagar, devagar acertando. De novo. Rápido. Devagar acertando agora.
The spinning elbow should be done as a two-step move. You turn, you apply the elbow, and then you quickly go back to the guard. Watch. It's very important for you to, after you apply your elbow, you do the rest of the turn and go back to your guard, or else it might be exposed to be struck. Watch how Marco does it in 2 steps.
Bem rápido. The knees are good to use when the guy is on clinch, on close distance fights. Marco going to show you now the front knee. When the guy's in a clinch, Distance and knee. Um pouco mais rápido. Vai. Slow, devagar. Okay.
When you apply the knee, once you have the distance closed, it's important for you to apply the knee and quickly come back to your base position, because it is a time when you expose yourself to be taken down, so you have to be very fast in your move. Sometimes grapplers will put themselves in this position so you can apply a knee, but then they quickly attack and take you down. So you must be very, very fast as you apply it. And even though Marco is hitting Robert's stomach, the ideal place for you to hit is the face. And that's why Marco is holding his head. You want to bring his head to your elbow, so it's two strength meeting. Your arms pulling down and your knees going up. Very painful.
Another good strike with your knee is the side knee. Ooh. Vai. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, okay.
The sideways knee, it's a strike designed to distract your opponent. You know, you apply it to the body to create body pain, so your opponent brings the guard down or tries to protect the body. That's when you go ahead and you attack the face. So, and pay attention how it's not a straight strike. You hit and you move your knee quickly. So you just want to cause a little bit of damage, ideally on the ribs, because you're trying to create pain in order for your opponent to pull his guard down.
Once you are in the clinch, you can hold your opponent's head and throw some knees on his face. Devagar. Oh. Devagarinho. Vai.
The knee to the face. Very, very effective. But remember, if your opponent's it's hiding his head somewhere in between your shoulders and your head, you can apply the exact same move to the ribs or to the stomach. But ideally, you want to hit the head.
And now Marco is going to show you some kicks. Kicks are the favorite strikes from Marco Ruas. He is considered the most effective kicks in the world. The front kick first. De frente. Devagar. Dá e para. Dá e para. Rápido.
The straight kick. Pay attention how Marco, in all his kicks, he tries to go to the ribs or the stomach. Again, that strike is used in Ruas Vale Tudo with the intent to have your opponent lower his guard. Then you can apply jabs and straight punches. And also is a kick that you must apply it and quickly go back to your base position. In case your opponent is a grappler, you don't want to give him any opportunity to take you down. So it's important that you keep both legs on the ground as much as you can.
Marco is considered by many the best lower kicker in the world. In Vale Tudo, everything goes. The high kicks are not so useful. The low kicks are most effective. Then Marco now we're going to show how he beat the giant, the polar bear, in Ultimate Fight 7, and many other fighters. Bem devagar e para. Bem devagar e para. Okay. Marco, we're gonna kick me on the thigh and the hamstring muscle, right? This part of my leg. Vai. Vai, forte agora, pouquinho.
The thigh kick is Marco's favorite kick because of the fact that when he applies that kick, his head goes back, so he feels he's protected as he's striking. You see the distance from Robert's hand to Marco's head. There's no how, as he applies that kick, he can be hit. And remember, you want to hit on the thighs of your opponent. And use all the strength from your abs and let all your weight go on that kick. The ideal way to train for this is buying a punching bag and make sure it's not very hard. And then you just do it over and over again. And as you train, you will feel that you're able to use more of your weight on the kick.
You have just learned some of the most lethal strikes technique from Ruas Vale Tudo. In the beginning, you have to practice with gear. Please be careful. Thank you.